Hello, welcome, merry meet. We are two friends, Med,
And Emma.
revisiting our love for all things witchy, magical, and paranormal.
This podcast is us feeling our way through exploring all the possibilities, and we'd like to invite you along for the journey.
Hey, witchy wanderers, welcome to our October episode of Which Way Next. As the wheel of the year turns once more, we find ourselves stepping into one of the most magical times, Samhain. We'll be diving into the origins of Samhain, talking about ancestor connection and what that means to us personally, as well as some simple ways in which we can honour that. So grab a cup of something warm, wrap yourself in a blanket, and join us as we wander through the veil together. Before we do that, though, let's catch up. How are you, Emma? How's your month been?
Oh, it's been a really lovely month actually, and we have news that's not really been kept quiet. We had our first Which Way Next road trip.
Yes, it was so fun, which is in the wild. So if you follow our social media, you've seen little glimpses of it, and we've used some of the videos that we took there for some creative TikToks, which I've had great fun making as well. And if you're on Patreon, then you kind of came along with us.
Yeah, we had a really lovely day out at Puzzlewood. Now it's just on the border of Wales, and we stayed over in an Airbnb, didn't we? Which was really lovely.
It's a lovely time.
I think we ought to put a link. Yeah, we ought to put a link on our Facebook or something to it because it was really good and the host was brilliant. So
Yes, agreed.
we shall give them a bit of a plug. But yeah, it's a trip that we've wanted to do for quite a long time. And we keep sending each other these links to Puzzlewood, like videos people had made and photographs and things like that. And we're saying, we really want to go there, but it's so far away for us. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, probably for our American listeners, it's not that far. But particularly for myself, as I'm only just getting over a fear of driving, it was quite a long journey. And pleased to say, I got us both there safely and back as well. And we had a wonderful time. It was like you pull up into, there's like a car park, isn't there? And then there's a pathway going through a little area where they've got some farm animals like goats and ponies and chickens, ducks, all sorts of things. So it's a really lovely place if you've got children to take them along. And then you come to this gateway into the forest and you're suddenly transported into all I can describe is another realm. It really felt like you were on another in another place. It's and the silence. It's like everything changes, doesn't it? I mean, you can hear the birds and stuff, but I can't even explain the feeling when you're in there. You feel really connected and peaceful and safe. I didn't, there was nothing uncomfortable about it at all. I felt so safe being there. I don't know, did you feel the same when you were going through there, Med?
When I first entered and I walked through the gate and I started looking around, I was firstly speechless and could only kind of say under my breath, wow, while looking around. And then I remember, I think the first thing I actually said out loud was I turned to you and I said, I feel like this place commands our silence. And you
Yes.
just kind of nodded in agreement. And we didn't really say anything, I think, for the first 10 minutes.
No.
You're just kind of taking it in.
Until we bumped into some other people that were exploring there as
Yeah.
well. I think if you want to feel how magical it is, you should definitely go on a day when it's
Can't explain
quieter.
it, can you? You have to or feeling is believing. It's the kind of place. It's like when you try and take photos of the moon. The videos I was taking, they're amazing, but they don't really show how magical it is. The colours are not as good as seeing it in real life, which is
No.
usually you can whack a filter on and it's better, but no. The vastness of it and the depth and just the wow moments as you keep going further and it just keeps expanding and expanding. You can't capture that on video. It was
No.
just yeah, it was beautiful. I think it's one of the most beautiful or maybe the most beautiful place I've been.
Yeah. I mean, from my understanding, it was somewhere where the Romans were mining, weren't they? So they found Roman artifacts and coins and things around the area. But there's something more sacred about it. I can't
100%.
believe that it's just somewhere that people have been mining. It
No.
feels
I
um
can feel the power there when you're there.
100%.
And when I've put up the TikToks as well, people are commenting that they can feel the power through the video. They can see that it's powerful there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, I mean, we just took hundreds of photos. Well, I certainly did. And we wandered around. There were a few other people wandering around as well, but everyone was really respectful. Um, there were pathways that you had to stick to, so you couldn't, go and ruin any of the forest. And yeah, we just walked around, it took our time, stopped when we felt we wanted to stop. And we also had a go at making a shambles, which to try and explain what a shambles is, it's where you collect items from where you are, so in the forest. So anything sort of natural, broken twigs, leaves, feathers, and you weave them. And it doesn't matter how you weave them. I mean, we both came up with very different ways of making our shambles. But the point is that you're intentionally putting these parts of the forest into your shambles to um to contain some of that power, um so that you can actually take it home with you and put it on your altar, and it will actually help um increase the power of your magic, of any spells that you do. But I loved that
And
bit.
we came across that at the right time, didn't we? Because we were sitting in our little tiny home, Airbnb, the night
Yeah.
before, doing our spell work, and Emma opened one of my books that I've read many times, but she was finding stuff in it that I hadn't heard of, and I was like, "How? When I've read this?" And she opened onto that page and said, "Oh my gosh, this is what we have to do tomorrow, this
Yeah.
shows." And I was like, "What?" That is so me when she read it out. I was like, "How have I missed that and not done it before?" But it was because it needed to be at Puzzlewood.
Oh yeah,
It was
100%.
the most perfect thing for us to do there.
Yeah, it really was. The timing was quite unbelievable in finding that. And yeah, it was such a lovely thing to do. Actually, both of us together, and we were there, and we ours both turned out totally different. But it was, yeah, it was very powerful and spiritual moment, I think, doing it.
Yeah, I agree. And now I feel like even more connected to Puzzlewood because I've got that shambles on my altar. Obviously, I did a lot of hugging trees and talking to the stones, touching the stones, and things like that. So I did connect myself while there, but having something physically to take home. And to add, we were very mindful
Yeah.
of only taking things that were already on the floor and broken off, thanking the forest for its tribute to our shambles. We didn't make massive things and take loads away with us. We did this in a very um, respectful way.
Yeah, 100%. Um, the last thing we need is hundreds of people going down there and just taking bits of the forest. It isn't respectful to do that. These were things, in fact, quite a few of the parts of my shambles, I the things fell in front of me. So they literally fell from the trees right in front of me, and those are what I picked up, thanked for, and used in my shambles. So
I think there was one point where we stood together and one of us said we needed an acorn and one fell in front of both of us at the same time.
yeah.
And we're like, thank you.
Yeah, it was so funny. But yeah, it's if I think that I mean, if anyone takes away anything from this, is that yeah, if you're somewhere, you're in a forest, somewhere that feels powerful to you, you should do the same. Make yourselves a shambles, bring it home with you, and put it on your altar or somewhere else in your house that you need that extra power. So, what's our next trip going to be?
Well, Kira, Emma's daughter, for those who don't know, did come up with somewhere she wants us to go with her. So maybe that could be our next one. I can't remember the name of it.
Mother Shipton's Cave.
That's the one.
Yeah.
There's a mothership in it, but I was thinking it's not. It's not Star Trek.
Yeah. I believe I've actually visited it before. When I was a child, I went on a school field trip, and I believe we went there. Um, it certainly feels very familiar to me anyway. Unless I was her in a past life. No joking. But yeah, I mean it's a fascinating place. Look it up. Mother Shipton's Cave.
I
It's
must confess, I haven't looked it up yet. Haven't you, Em?
oh, you should. You should. You should see the thing on petrified like teddy bears and things like that. It's really
Yeah,
cool. They kind of hang these things, and over time the limestone, I think it is, turns them into stone. So yeah, it's a fascinating place. My daughter's going to be moving up into that sort of, well, she's moving to Yorkshire shortly, so we'll have somewhere to stay. And we'll go and visit Mother Shipton's Cave up in it's Knaresborough, I believe. Just isn't that just outside Harrogate? So
I'm terrible at geography. Do you
yeah,
ask me geography questions?
I only vaguely know the area because Dan is from Yorkshire. So he was from Lost of the Summer Wine land. That's where he came from, and he did live in Harrogate for a while. So yeah, I know that area a bit.
So yeah, that's what we've been up to since last month. It's been really fun. Well, that part was really fun. The rest of my life has not been too fun, but I was glad of the break. I think it really did me good. Both getting together with Emma for that little what was it, 24 hours?
Yeah.
And I couldn't have found a better place to go and recharge and reset than Puzzlewood. So if you have considered visiting there and haven't yet, or if you've never heard of it, look it up and definitely go for the trip. So I'm so glad we did it.
Yeah, me too. I definitely needed that reset, do a bit of
100%.
grounding. I think I've spent too much time in my house, not really getting out other than on my dog walks. So it was nice to explore somewhere new and so beautiful as well.
Yeah.
Felt like I was in Lord of the Rings or something like that.
Also, just to say, the people that look after Puzzlewood have done such an amazing job. When we first arrived and we were told we had to stick to paths, I was thinking, stick to paths in a wood, that goes against my nature. I like to get lost. I don't like to stick to paths. But the way that it was respected and looked after, and the paths that were there felt so natural, and they had this forest was so taken care of, but not in a way where they were altering it in any way. It really respected the nature of the forest and allowed it to just grow and overgrow itself. And yeah, I think that's one of the reasons it felt like an untouched kind of mystical land that hadn't been altered too much.
Yeah,
So I
100%.
think that's one of the reasons it was so powerful.
Yeah, you could imagine that, like, dwarves had been out there building the little
Yeah.
pathways and, like, terraces and things like that you
And
could
everything was made of nature. So, like, the rails either side of the paths were clearly made from trees there, and was very rustic
Yeah, yeah,
and natural. So, yeah, I think that it was very well made. Well, not made, you know what I mean. It was very well looked after.
definitely. So, moving on to our subject for this episode, which is Samhain. Now, me and Med have debated over this on how we pronounce it. So it is spelled Samhain, but lots of people will pronounce it in different ways. Now, I've always known it as Samhain. I've seen it written as Samhain as well, and Med says it's uh,
Sorry.
Samhain.
I don't say Samhain, how it's spelled.
No. So, everyone has different ways of pronouncing it. We're going to just pronounce it how we usually do. I don't think there's particularly a right or a wrong way. It's often a regional thing, or what you've learned from books and things like that. So we'll just carry on as we are. It's not wrong. So Samhain has always carried that feeling of standing at the threshold between light, dark, life and death, one year and the next. It marks the Celtic New Year, the end of the harvest, and the beginning of the darker half of the year.
For our ancestors, this was a sacred pause. The crops had been gathered, the animals had been brought in from the fields, and the focus turned inward to hearth, home, and memory. Fires were lit to honour the turnings of the seasons and to guide spirits safely through their veil. It was believed that during this time, the boundary between worlds grew thin, allowing the living and the dead to draw close once more.
But Samhain was never about fear, it was about connection. The people didn't dread the spirits, they welcomed them. Places were set at the table for ancestors, candles burned in their windows to light their way home, and stories were shared to keep their memory alive.
It's easy to see how these customs evolved into Halloween traditions that we know today. Carved turnips becoming pumpkins, protective disguises becoming costumes. Yet at the heart of it all remains the same idea: to honour what has passed and to step forward into a new cycle with gratitude.
When we pause at Samhain, we're invited to do the same, to reflect on the year and what it's brought us, what we've harvested in our lives, and what we're ready to release into the dark to rest and transform.
There's a kind of stillness at this time, an invitation to light a candle, whisper a name, or simply sit in the quiet and listen. To remember that we're part of an unbroken line stretching far behind us and endlessly ahead. Okay, so we touched on how Sorwin has Celtic influence and also how that's become kind of more commercialised with Halloween. Let's talk a bit more about kind of the history of Sorwin. So, in those Celtic countries, it was kind of commonplace for them to light great bonfires to um, symbolize this time of like great harvest and the final crops and preparing for the winter ahead. I can imagine that that brought communities together for a gathering to honour these times. They also had rituals they carried out, such as leaving offerings of food and drink outside for wandering spirits and the fae. And asking them to bring peace and blessings for their household. I remember learning about that particular thing. I think there was something they used to hang up in their doors as well. I remember learning about that at school as like a history of Halloween. And I felt so drawn to it. And so like, how have not I not heard this side of Halloween before? This is like, this speaks to me more than Halloween and what I know of it does. Um, Maybe my teacher was a witch.
I was going to say, none of our teachers would have talked about.
I don't think that was necessarily the curriculum. Um, but it was definitely taught to me at one point, and I had showed such interest in that. And I remember thinking, "Wow, Halloween is more magical than I thought it was," and that rings true to me more than this knocking on doors for sweets does.
Yeah.
I was
And
small at that
you've
point.
you've got Irish ancestry, haven't you? Well, you have family who are Irish, so
Yeah.
I'm guessing that some of those things may have, seeped through to you.
Um, my Irish family are very Catholic.
Mhm.
Um, my should I say my immediate Irish family. Perhaps my ancestors may have been more on the witchy side and done Samhain, but the Irish family I have now are very Catholic, and um, apart from my granddad, who didn't go to church, um, and but definitely, as far as I know, wasn't into witchy stuff either. He was a simple Irish man. He was a builder, and that was it. But, yeah, it wasn't talked about at all, with my Irish side of my family. But, yeah, I definitely feel a draw to kind of knowing, for instance, when I do my rituals for, Samhain this time, I do want to bring some of the ancestry side into it, um, and maybe that will draw on my Celtic side, but I am not going to ask for a specific side. I'm going to ask for who wants to be there for me and is most needed. But yeah, many of us will also be familiar with the Mexican celebration, the Day of the Dead, which also mirrors kind of Halloween and Samhain and all those types of celebrations. And that very much focuses on the ancestral link to Samhain or the Day of the Dead, um, where you will honour your ancestors and you'll leave that offering specifically for your ancestral line and those that you've known in this life who have passed on. Um, and it's a way to reconnect with them beyond the veil. There's also a Japanese festival that I actually don't know much about called Obon, that honours ancestors. They gather with lanterns during that time. In some parts of Eastern Europe, they have similar traditions called Jardi, where they invite spirits of the dead for a meal, which is also a ritual that is carried out in Samhain. So we'll see lots of similarities between all of these kind of celebrations and festivals across the world.
They all have the same sort of sentiment, and that the veil has become thinner, hasn't it? So that they can actually make contact with the dead ancestors. I think it's lovely actually because um, sometimes people get forgotten, and I love that in those cultures that they make a big thing about not forgetting those people that came before them. So, to be honest with you, Samhain is a very new thing for me, that I'm only just learning about. I always grew up with Halloween, and weirdly, I never understood why we had a Halloween. It just felt like one of those days where it's just fun. You all get dressed up as witches and zombies and all sorts of scary things and go around knocking on people's doors asking for sweets and sometimes doing tricks. But I wasn't actually allowed to do that when I was a kid. It was
What?
no, I think my parents felt it was unsafe. So I only went once, I think, with one of my friends. And it was great because we went round her street and some of the people were giving away £10 notes to us. So that was lovely. But for me, it's never been anything particularly to celebrate. I don't really know much about it other than it was an American festival, really. And they celebrate it very differently to us. So, I mean, the difference between the UK and America with Halloween is they a proper fancy dress. So they would dress up as anything. They could dress up as, a superhero or whatever. Whereas here it's very much witches and things that are going to
Spooky
scare you,
things. Yeah.
spooky things, ghosts, vampires, all of those kind of things. Oh, and when I was a late teenager, I used to win the Halloween dressing up competitions, wearing my own clothes. I remember going to a pub with my friends, and I'd literally done like a line across my neck and put some blood there, so it looked like I got a slit throat, and I won. And I was wearing my normal clothes. I was a bit gothic back then, so I guess it kind of looked a bit spooky. Um, but yeah, I'm loving actually learning about all of this stuff, even if it is through movies like the film Coco. Have you seen that?
I love Coco.
Yeah, that's about Day of the Dead. Again, I mean, that's not actually on Halloween, but it has that very similar sort of meaning around it. And oh, it's such a brilliant film. So if you want to learn about the Day of the Dead, you can watch that. And I have used Day of the Dead makeup on Halloween before. So
Yeah, I've done that theme a few times.
yeah, it's really fun. And then yeah, but I don't know. What are you going to be actually doing anything this year? How are you going to be celebrating Samhain? And will you be doing Halloween as well?
So yes, I still do Halloween because Joshua is still at that age where he'll trick or treat and stuff. And also, we are known as that house. We are that house on our street where it's always decorated, and we're always giving out sweets. So everyone will expect to come to our house at Halloween.
You've
Uh,
got going back to, I think we spoke about them in the last episode, your wreath on the front door.
Yes, so my plan is to do it tomorrow actually, put all my Halloween decorations up. Usually I like to be at the 1st of October, but I've been so busy I haven't had a chance to go to garage and get my stuff out. So at the moment I still have my autumn. Do I have an autumn wreath? Hold on. No, I don't have an autumn wreath yet. I still have a summery wreath on the door, and I'm about to swap it out for my Stranger Things wreath, which I love. So it's got Vecna on it. Um, and it's quite scary looking. And I'll be putting out all my Halloween decorations tomorrow. So the whole front of the house will be transformed. And yeah, so I still go out um on the day of Halloween with my son trick or treating, and my husband mans our house for the trick or treaters while we're out. And then, yeah, it's a very busy evening and our doorbell goes every 2 seconds, which will be fun to see.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd have to
today
fix
I've
my
lodged in the cage here. So yeah, we've got that happening. She'll be very excited. And I should get her a little costume actually. I might do that. And then myself, I want to do something to celebrate it properly this year. I think I may have done a little thing last year. I can't remember exactly what I did. But I want to do it properly this year. I'll probably, even though I like doing my spell work during the evening, I'll probably do it during the day because I will be dead after trick or treating and stuff. I'll be absolutely exhausted and I'll be like, no, forget it. So, which is what usually happens. So, yeah,
But
I
if
think
it's I was just gonna say, even if you don't manage it then, it's actually celebrated through till, the 1st of November anyway, so you'll be okay if you did it on the 1st of November. Just saying.
I cannot because I have a Busted and McFly concert.
Oh.
That's will not be happening.
Fair enough. Yeah, I've we've not really done many things over Halloween, except when the children were kind of younger. I used to go and meet up with friends, and we'd take them out and go trick or treating. But they're grown up now. My daughter's moved away. My son is not really interested in that kind of stuff for Halloween. So I might decorate, but to be honest, we've hidden for the last few years and not bothered getting sweets or anything because we didn't get many visitors anyway. So we were like, okay, we'll just turn the lights off and not bother. Um, so yeah, it's not Halloween's not actually going to be really happening for us. But my oracle cards keep telling me that I need to connect with my ancestors. And they come out so often in the cards that it's about time that I did do something for it, and this is the perfect time. So, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what I will be doing. But in fact, I have um, in my book, The Natural Magic, they've got a tarot spread, which is a 6-card tarot spread, and it's about, um how can I honor my ancestors and how do I connect with them better? So I will be doing that tarot spread and working out exactly what I'm going to be doing. And then maybe I can talk about it when we're next on the podcast.
Amazing. And there's a few ways that you can connect with your ancestors around this time. Um, from simple things, just like lighting a candle in memory of your ancestor or somebody that you've actually known in this life that's passed. You can speak their name, share a story, or play a piece of music that reminds you of them at the same time. You could create an altar for your ancestors or ancestor, even just a small shelf or windowsill. Add some photos, objects that remind you of them, or if it's an ancestor you didn't know, you could just use something that you think represents that, or maybe even something with your own DNA on it, such as a piece of your hair or something like that. Um, or you could offer seasonal offerings such as apples, nuts, autumn leaves, just to honour them. Ritual wise, it's also a great time of year to carry out your banishing spells and release anything that you've been holding on to that you're ready to let go of. So, any habits, fears, burdens that you're ready to release, anything that's not serving you. I love doing this ritual myself. I do it before I do any other spell work so that I'm not carrying and holding on to energies that don't serve me while I'm doing that spell work. So I feel like it's a clean slate for the spell. You can do this by writing these things on bay leaves or on pieces of paper. and I use my cauldron, I hold them over it and I burn them. And I like to add a bit of Vesta powder to that as well to help it burn away and go away. I was going to say something else, but I'll keep it PG.
And can you just tell us what that powder is? Because I think some people might not know.
I don't know what it is. It's Vesta powder.
Is that the one that
Powder, and you buy it from the witchy shop, and it does great things. It makes
is that the one where you? Yeah, is it the one that you can buy and it has different colours to it? So you can get ones with different colours.
No, I have thought about using them in spells just to make it look pretty. And I keep telling myself I'm going to buy some, and I forget.
Yeah,
What it does.
doesn't just make it pretty. It's colour magic.
Yeah, that's true.
So it makes your spell stronger.
I don't think you can control the colour of that powder, though, can you?
Yeah, you.
Multicoloured.
No. You can get different ones for different colours.
Well, that makes it even better.
Yeah.
It to add colour magic into my spell because I didn't know that. I've only seen the ones that are multicoloured.
Oh, yeah.
But no, the Vesta powder, it probably has Vesta powder in it, that stuff. But Vesta powder is something to help things burn. So it gives off a kind of, it's like a little very mini explosion. How do I can explain it? So I use my charcoal blocks in my cauldron, so it keeps the things bubbling. And I burn the bay leaf or piece of paper individually, one by one, with my fire lighter. And then I use what are those things called that you hold it with?
Tongs?
Yes, thank you. Use my tongs to stop me from burning my fingers, and I hold it over the cauldron to burn. I imagine it releasing and going away, and then I add it to the cauldron, and that keeps it all burning and going. And I add a bit of Festa powder because I just feel like it's like a magical ingredient to just say, you are going, burn away, off you go.
Yeah. I would recommend doing this outside and not setting off your sprinklers at home or the fire alarms.
Honestly, I do it inside, but for podcast purposes, yes, do it outside.
Talking about the outside, it is actually a good time to go outdoors at night and just take a moment, feel the turning of the seasons and the connect to the stillness between the worlds. I can't think of anything more beautiful than being able to stand outside under the stars and just feeling that, where we are. Or you can just simply take time to journal. What have you learned this year? What are you letting go of? And what seeds do you want to plant in the dark to grow the light's return? Another thing we briefly spoke about was hosting a dumb supper. And that's where you'd have a quiet meal and you'd set a place for your ancestor. You'd serve the food up that you're eating. So you'd serve them a plate of of food, and then you'd all eat in silence and just allow that time for reflection and connection. And then after the meal, traditionally, that plate of food would be thrown away.
We're taking a short detour on our path to share a recommendation we think you'll enjoy. We'll be right back to continue the journey in just a moment.
Hello everyone, this is Emily from Cadoo in the Marlow Shopping Centre, Hemel Hempstead. Just letting you know that our workshop room is up and running, as well as our monthly tarot readers in store. Our workshops include how to do tarot yourself, as well as some witchy arts and crafts. Please come in store today for more information or find us on Facebook, Instagram or TikTok.
Another thing you could do to feel closer to your ancestors at that time is to cook family recipes. It's great for the kitchen witch, probably not for me, 'cause as we've discovered, I'm not great in the kitchen. But you could create meals including herbs like rosemary, tarragon, bay leaf. They're all wonderful things to use in your family recipes.
And if you're honouring not even necessarily a family member, but somebody who's passed away that you want to feel closer to or honour in this time, you could just make a meal you know they loved or order their favourite takeaway or something similar to that.
I like the idea of ordering a takeaway.
I was talking to a friend recently, actually. Her husband sadly passed away, and they have two children who are um, still quite young. And it was coming up to his birthday. It just passed last week, and she was saying that that's what they do to honour his birthday. They order his favourite takeaway.
Oh, that's such a lovely thing to do. I love
Yeah.
that.
And I thought, what a lovely, simple way to just honour him in your everyday life. Um, because that's the kind of thing you do when you're an adult and you have kids. You don't go out partying anymore. You're like, it's my birthday. I'm not cooking. I have my favourite takeaway.
Definitely.
That's just me.
No, it's me as well.
So yeah. So yeah, I thought that was a lovely way to just honour him and remember that closeness. And you're enjoying a meal you know he would have really liked. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely something you can do for Sorwin as well.
That that made me think actually that I don't actually know what my grandparents' favourite foods were. It's such a simple thing, isn't it? And I don't know that. I mean, to be fair, my mum's parents passed away around my age they were, so quite young. My granddad before I was born, and my nan when I was only about 5, I think, or 6. And so I don't remember much about them, but maybe I need to ask my parents, what were my grandparents' favourite foods? Um, like my nan and granddad on my dad's side of the family, they were farmers, so it could have been anything. I know she made amazing cakes. She was a
Yeah,
very
I was
good
about
cake
to say
maker.
actually, I forgot actually to mention this, but you reminded me that around Christine's birthday, my mother-in-law who passed away, we have lemon drizzle cake because that was her favourite cake. So that reminds us of
Chris.
her. I'm
Chris.
always gonna call her Christine. But when I think of my granddad who has now passed away, um, he had no sense of taste. He had an accident um, when my mum was younger. He'd fallen quite high off of a building, off of a roof, and
Ouch.
somehow that had left him with no sense of taste. Don't ask me how, because I can't remember the whole story.
Yeah.
So, but he could taste HP sauce. That's the only thing he could
Oh.
taste. So he put it on everything. So I suppose if I
What,
think
including cake?
I don't remember ever seeing him eating anything like cake. Probably because he couldn't taste it. So what was the point? So whenever we had dinner at the table, I remember he always had to have HP sauce and cover everything in it. So yeah, I suppose I could call on the HP sauce to kind of honour him.
I'll have to remember that my dad really likes daddy's sauce. He's still with us, thankfully. But I'm liking the idea of cake now. Why is that going through my head? A lemon drizzle cake. That sounds really good. Maybe that should be my tradition for Samhain. Make some lemon. No, I won't make it. It will be horrible. I'll buy some lemon drizzle cake and maybe what did my nan make? It was like a Victoria sponge. Oh, they were amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to honour her. So you can maybe not make it, but buy a Victoria's sponge.
Definitely won't make it. So these small acts bring us into rhythm with something ancient, a reminder that the veil between the world isn't just about spirits, but about the thin spaces within ourselves where memory, emotion, and intuition meet.
So we invite you to celebrate Samhain in any way that resonates with you. Maybe it'll be one of the ways we've spoken of. Maybe it's something that you already do, or maybe you'll come up with your own thing or research it. We'd love to hear how you celebrate. Maybe you find peace in simply remembering and honouring, or maybe you feel drawn to connect more directly. Whatever you choose, let it be guided by respect, love, and your own intuition.
Hi, Witchy Wanderers. We're just taking a little moment here to send a big warm thank you to all of our amazing Patreon members. We are so grateful for each and every one of you. You're basically our little coven, our cozy community, and we love having you along for the ride.
We've loved bringing you along to our Puzzlewood trip this month and sharing our magical moments with you. Thank you to our paid members, Jet, Anita, Michelle, Orla, and Amber, and to all of our free members too.
You really are all amazing.
Okay, so it's that time again for magical this and that. This one has a little bit of a Samhain theme to it. Okay, Emma, so the first question is bonfire under the stars or candlelit ritual indoors?
Bonfire under the stars. There's nothing. Oh, I love a bonfire and being out at night and you're sat around it all cozy and yeah, no, it's definitely a bonfire under the stars.
I have to agree. I love fire. And, and
The pyromaniac in us.
I equally love the stars, which also are balls of fire. I love nothing more than just I lay on my sun lounger, in the dark, just staring up at the sky, and yeah, um, it's magic in itself to just look out at space and see how vast the universe is, and remember that we're not just this tiny planet that we are on that does sometimes feel big. Pumpkin candles or incense and herbs burning on the altar?
When you say pumpkin candles, do you mean pumpkin spice candles?
Now, it's funny you should ask because I have no idea, but just before I did 1 minute, just before we started recording this, I was rearranging my altar, giving it a bit of a tidy up, and I realised on my shelf, I bought these last year.
Oh, they're cute.
I mean, you can't
No,
see
they can't see it.
So for those of you, I just realised that. With those of you at home, I've got 3 of these. They're little mini pumpkin-shaped candles, and I brought them. I remember now after Halloween last year, they were in like a reduced section, and I was like, "Oh, I'll buy them for my altar for next year, so I'm more prepared." And I forgot about them until I just saw them now, and I was like, "Oh, perfect! I can actually put them on."
Nice.
So yeah. So
You'll have
they could be literally pumpkin-shaped candles, but they could also be, I don't know if these are, no, they're not scented. They could be scented.
Yeah. You'll have to put a photograph on our social media.
Yes, I will.
Yeah. Well, okay, if it was pumpkin spiced candles, I'd have said no because I do not like the smell of pumpkin spice
I'm not a
candles.
fan either.
I find them a bit sickly. And yeah, so that would be a no. So I think, but yeah, those pumpkins you've got are really cute. I'd have those on my altar, 100%. But I think, and I would always use incense on my altar anyway.
Yeah,
So the
same.
candle's like a separate thing, so I could have both, can't I? Can I say both?
That's cheating. But we always allow cheating here, so it's fine. So usually I would say incense because I have incense burning on my altar every single day. But I do have pumpkin candles on my altar for the first time ever. So I am also saying both. And I think for me, it's important that I change my altar up off as often as possible. I don't change it very often, but I feel like when the seasons do change or I change, it needs to be changed up to represent that for me. Otherwise, I just feel like the energy gets stale and I perhaps don't pay as much attention to it because it just looks the same as it always did and it's not holding my current energy anyway.
Yeah,
So
100%.
for me, it's important that I am symbolizing something that I am focusing my intention on at the time. And at the moment, that's soar wind. So anything that has an autumn vibe or a soar wind vibe is going on my altar at the moment.
Nice.
Okay, the next one. Ooh. Walking through misty woods or curling up inside with spell books and tea.
Oh, misty woods. Now, I love being in the woods, but if it was misty, it might feel a little bit creepy and it might be chilly. So I'm going to go with the other one, which was curling up with tea. Was it curling up with tea?
Curling up with the tea and spell books.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know, I'm going to cheat again. I want to go for that misty wood walk through the woods, and then I want to come home to my nice warm tea and spell books, maybe a fire going. I've got the whole evening planned out here.
Game's going all wrong. We're not sticking to making a decision.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna have to stop playing this game and just call it,
Things we like.
things we like.
Or doing this and that.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we do one more?
Yeah, go for it.
Let me pick out a good one. 1 minute. Crystal scrying or mirror gazing.
Mirror gazing. And I actually do that quite a lot. I've been practicing it. So yeah, mirror grazing.
Was it like looking in the mirror and eating snacks?
Yeah.
I suppose I'd eat snacks if I was looking in the mirror because I'd see how fat I was and it would stop me.
It's the new way to diet, didn't you know?
Just my carrot sticks. This is okay. Yes, I agree. Mirror gazing, and it's something I did naturally as a child. I didn't know what I was doing, but it was the little witch in me, and I used to stare in the mirror, and sometimes I would see somebody different staring back at me, or I would find my inner self in the mirror, kind of, and I'd start thinking about something that perhaps needed changing or a realization that I hadn't realized. And I got to a certain age where I started to think that I was weird doing that, so I stopped.
I've never thought about it as being weird. I've just often done it.
Maybe I was a little freaked out because I was seeing things that weren't me looking back and stuff, or like I've spoken about before, I had a lot of stigma about the witchy side of me because my mum kind of spoke about her witchy side a lot, but she also had mental health issues and I didn't want to be like her. So so I stopped. But no, I'm getting back into that side of me now. And so I have been thinking recently that I want to, rather than just doing it because I'm looking in the mirror and I start doing it, I want to intentionally start mirror gazing and go into gaze in the mirror and perhaps get myself a scrying mirror. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's something I want to explore more for sure.
Yeah, I had thought about getting a scrying mirror or even making one. But yeah, I use the way I use it is I sit when I'm shuffling my oracle cards, and I use it that way,
It's a
and
nice idea.
sort of seeing, if I can draw the energy from there or from, maybe ancestors or spirit guides, just seeing what happens really.
I like that. While we're on this subject, another thing that you looked at, Emma, in my book that I hadn't seen on that same evening was a great tip or idea is to use your phone with the screen off, so it's the black part, as a scrying mirror, which is
Yeah.
such a good idea and considered before. Yeah. Oh God.
You've got your own
A fly just went right in my ear and buzzed as I did. Sorry.
message. What were they trying to use that to you?
Yes, look in the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mobile scrying mirror. So
Yeah, so you have a scrying mirror with you if you are somebody who has a mobile phone, as most of us do these days, with you all the time. So yeah. We're nearing the end of this episode now, but before we part, we'd like to invite you to join us in a reflective moon moment. As we sit at the threshold of Sorwin, it's a perfect time to pause and reflect under the quiet light of the moon. Think of this as a gentle breath in our journey, a moment to honour the cycles of nature, the wisdom of our ancestors, and the turning of the wheel. As the veil thins, allow yourself to feel the connection to those who have walked before you. Let their memories be a gentle guide, and let this season be a time of both release and renewal. Take a deep breath, feel the magic in the air, and know that you are part of an unbroken circle of light and shadow, endings and beginnings.
Thank you for listening to this episode and being part of our journey. To continue the conversation, we invite you to join us on our Facebook group, Which Way Next Community. You'll be asked the questions, what are the names of the hosts? The answer is Med and Emma.
You can also find us on our Facebook page, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. If you want to get in touch to share a listener story, question, or to work with us, our email address is whichwaynext@gmail.com. So I've been Med.
And I've been Emma. Join us next time where we ask the question, which way next?